There goes another workshop,
thought Mary as she rushed to the windowsill to stop a 14th century Ming vase from falling to the floor. It had been a gift from Yongle III, Emperor of the Ming dynasty, that she had brought back from their recent trip to China.
I don't know what he is doing, but we can't afford to keep replacing sheds,
she sighed, looking at Dog, who agreed with a tail wag. As the dust started to settle, Mary went back to packing her holiday clothes into trunk. She was so looking forward to a quiet weekend away in the New Forest.
Now, Trunk, did you pack my saddle? I may try and ride one of those lovely wild ponies. What fun!
Sorry about that. I was trying to improve my recipe for popping candy,
said Cyril as he entered the room.
We haven't got time for that now. Are you packed and ready to go?
Said Mary in her bossy kind of way.
Yes, we are all packed and Camilla is in her travel box.
You might want to dust yourself down, Cyril.
Righto!
Mary, Professor Cyril, Dog, Trunk, and Camilla the Camel enjoyed adventures, and since the professor had mended the time machine, they had been able to escape lockdown by going back or forward in time. Camilla was waiting for them by the time machine.
Seatbelts on then, everybody,
called Mary.
Off we go then, to the New Forest in a time when it was quiet and not full of tourists, please, Cyril. You did fix that glitch, didn't you?
Glitch?
Asked Cyril, but he had already pulled on the lever, pressed a few buttons, and the room had begun to spin. They were off. They were whizzing through time when suddenly the machine began to shake and lights started to flash and the time machine began to make funny noises. Then, crash! They had landed.
Have we arrived?
Said Mary, straightening her wonky hat.
I say,
said Cyril.
Where are all the trees?
Dog began barking loudly. Something wasn't right. The ground was shaking. There was a sulphurous smell in the air, like rotten eggs. And large, hot boulders were landing all around them.
We are on a volcano!
Shouted Mary.
Quick, Camilla, we need you!
As quick as a flash, Camilla was harnessed to the front of the time machine and the camel took off, running down the hill, pulling everyone behind her like a reindeer pulling a sleigh. Dog raced ahead as a river of red lava chased them down the mountain. Dog slammed on the brakes as out of the crack in the earth rose a giant rock monster. Covered in moss and shrubs, it rose up and let out a roar. But it was too late. Dog tumbled into the monster's mouth. Cyril, seeing this unfold in front of him, took some chewing gum out of his pocket and popped it into his mouth, spitting out a bit of pocket fluff before chewing away. Within no time at all, his allergic reaction to chewing gum started to take effect. With a loud rumble of his stomach and the sound of a jet engine blowing through a large whoopee cushion, he took off like a rocket, headfirst into the chest of the monster and ricocheted into the air. With a cough and a splutter, the monster spat out Dog. Scooping up Dog into the time machine, they raced down the mountain before the monster knew what was happening.
That was a close shave,
sighed Mary as they finally reached the bottom of the mountain. She hugged Dog and then instantly regretted it because he was covered in green goo. What did that monster eat?
Well done, Professor. Excellent rescue. And well done, Camilla. You got us out of a tight spot.
But the professor was looking worried.
I'm afraid we are out of power for the time machine.
He took out a blackened stone that had once been a ruby. How on earth were they going to find more rubies in the middle of the jungle?
Well, if we are going to be here a while,
said Mary, ever the practical one,
we need to find somewhere to shelter. What about that cave over there?
When they arrived at the cave entrance, it looked pitch black inside. Camilla was nervous. She didn't like caves, but she didn't like being left outside on her own either. Mary set off, exploring the cave. Cyril began to pick up rock samples.
Oh my!
Shouted Mary from the far side of the cave. Everyone looked up as Mary pointed to the ceiling of the cave covered in beautiful, sparkling rubies. But just as she did, they heard a loud rumble. Was the roof about to collapse? Or was there something very large inside the cave with them? The volcano monster towered in front of them. Mary grabbed her brolly like a sword. dog growled menacingly, ready to defend Mary.
Hello. Good to see you again. I am so glad you are safe. I do apologize for almost eating you earlier. I had just woken up and was having a yawn when you, well, sort of, fell in.
There was another grumble.
Pardon me.
Said the monster.
Not had breakfast yet.
And he grabbed a handful of rubies from the ceiling and stuffed them in his mouth.
Oh, I'm being so rude. Would you like some?
Yes, please.
Mary grinned. He seemed to be an awfully nice monster.
That will keep us time traveling for a good while, eh, Professor?
Said Mary as she filled Trunk with rubies.
Can we offer you a tuna sandwich in exchange?
And so it was that the Trapid Explorers spent a glorious afternoon picnicking with the monster, sharing rubies and tuna sandwiches.
Do call again. And bring some more of those wonderful tuna sandwiches.
And so it was that the intrepid explorers spent a glorious afternoon picnicking with the monster, sharing rubies and tuna sandwiches.